Good girl.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? Listen, if your name is Chloe Bailey, oof, people are saying Beyonce's what is it? Her entertainment company Parkwood has done you dirty, or maybe you're doing yourself dirty. If you guys don't know, Chloe and Parkwood have been sued for 15 million, 5 million a song, on top of other damages. They are involved in a scandal that may actually, if not bring the music industry down, definitely lift the ugly lid as to what's going on with artists, the exploitation, and the way they're basically being forced to work as slaves or at the whim of their overseers who are billionaires. Y'all, let's get into this because this lawsuit actually surprised me most out of everyone because I gotta be honest with you, I am a huge fan of, right? I am a huge fan of Chloe, an incredible fan of Chloe. And it's so shocking to me, and we have the full legal court documents, that she would do something so grimy. And it looks like her label, Beyonce's Parkwood label, actually, if not encouraged her, held her hand. At the very least, no one is trying to talk sense into her. Now, I don't know how much money they were asking for, but I know it was less than 15 million. We have, of course, Tiffany Red. She is one. She's part of the 100 percenters. It is a safe music pledge to make sure artists' minds, bodies, and work are respected to the fullest. She is trying to institute change so there can never be another Diddy in the industry on multiple levels, exploiting people, sexual harassment, coercion, right? But also the way before we even knew Diddy was a monster, we knew that he liked to have freak offs on artists' royalties. We knew that he was known for, if you got signed to him, you might be on the cover of every page. And guess what? Your rent will probably be past due because he's not even paying you enough to pay it. Diddy was the original exploiter in the rap urban music game. And it looks like he taught people a lot of things that are still going on. So Tiffany is fighting the good fight to make sure that we actually say enough is enough. Tiffany, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So, listen, let's get into this. We have a lot to actually discuss, okay? We have a lot to discuss. We have the full legal documents. Tiffany, I wanted you here because you are basically the expert when it comes to artists publishing and also legal docs, how they're set up. If anybody is an aspiring artist or you know 100 aspiring artists, go ahead to the 100 percenters, sign the Safe Music Pledge, and get involved. They can offer guidance. They can offer resources. At the very least, they can offer kind of like, I know it's not a union, but it's almost like a pseudo union that you guys are
hmm
trying to make just to make sure artists have the bare minimum. Tell me a little bit about, before we get into these legal documents, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about this Chloe case?
Okay, so first of all, hi. Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. So I got involved in this case officially in early January. I was brought on as an advocate for the songwriter that filed this lawsuit. His name is Forrest. And he's a songwriter that I've known a long time. He's probably written one of y'all favorite songs. He's worked with loads of people. He's highly sought after. And so I had already knew about this situation from early last year. The records came out last August, and he told me about it last August when it first happened. But I was under the assumption, since I hadn't heard from him about it in a while, that it had just gotten settled. But then he reached out to me in January, and everything's still after 200 days of him and his lawyer, Tiffany Morgan, amicably going back and forth with Chloe's lawyer, Jeremy Moore,
Mhm.
and the producer, Bongo, and his attorney, Motisila Zulu. After going back and forth with them for 200 days and getting nowhere, Forrest brought me in, and you already know I came in and was like, what the. So I came in and initially last at the end at like last month, I started to speak out about it. And so I had started to, like, if you guys remember, I popped up on the internet a little bit last month speaking about the situation. And quite honestly, I thought that it was going to settle. We were in a going in a good direction last week. But I don't know, it just kind of went off the rails. When I came in, I also brought in litigator Tyrone Blackburn, and
Oh, this is a Tyrone Blackburn special. Okay,
this is
okay.
a Tyrone Blackburn special,
Mm.
baby. You already know. So we brought in Tyrone Blackburn, and he there was a demand letter sent. Like, they already knew. This is not like, oh my God, they filed a lawsuit out of nowhere. Like, that's not what happened.
Mhm,
And so, but they knew that this was going in that direction if we couldn't get this worked out. And so basically, Forrest wrote three songs on Chloe Bailey's record.
mhm,
The three songs are Same Lingerie, Might as Well, and Favorite. So two out of those three songs he wrote for another artist prior to the songs getting to Chloe.
mhm.
And he wrote them himself. But he wrote them inspired by that artist's story. And so the producer Bongo took the songs after that artist wasn't using them, and cut them on Chloe Bailey, and didn't say anything, like didn't tell Forrest what was going
What does
on,
cut them mean?
like recorded the songs. So they
Okay.
recorded, so the songs were previously written.
Mhm,
And if you look in like interviews, Chloe talks about like hearing the demo of Same Lingerie and how connected she felt to the song and all of that. So she recorded the song, but there was already a demo of the song.
okay.
So she recorded the song, and yeah, they released it. They released the songs last August, and since last August they've been going back and forth trying to get everything together. Like, the business wasn't handled on the songs. Forrest charges a songwriter fee, and they didn't want to pay him his fee. They didn't even want to have a contract with him. Like, they
Mm,
didn't want, it was crazy. Like, they didn't want to pay the fees. They didn't want him to have any master royalty points, which is something that songwriters are fighting for now.
mhm,
Songwriters don't always get songwriter fees either.
mhm.
But Forrest doesn't care about that. He's like, look, this is how I do my business. And they didn't give him an opportunity to even do business. And
Wow.
Chloe's attorney in particular, Jeremy Moore, has been, out of everybody, at least since I've been a part of it, has really been, ugh, no
Jeremy
fun.
Moore, you need to work on your people skills. Let me ask you a question. How many times, because Chloe has such a sweet image, she seems like a nice young girl. I
Yeah.
don't know how much he's suing for. I mean, well, the demand letter was for, but I mean, she's posted up in Africa and Burna Boy, and her dreads always look nice. So I assume she's doing pretty well. All
Hmm.
jokes aside, how many times did you guys give Chloe, or did Forrest give Chloe a chance to come to the table and make this right? And what's the role Parkwood played into it? Beyonce's record company. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Beyonce is incredibly talented. She's one of course, she was named the top 21st, the performer of the 21st century. So her
Hmm.
talent can't be denied and her impact can't be denied. But when
Absolutely.
it comes to business, fair is fair. Um, what role did Parkwood Entertainment? Because I would think that Parkwood, and when you look at the price of Beyonce's concert tickets, are bringing in money hand over foot. Why? And again, I understand he's suing for 15 million in punitive damages, but the actual amount he wanted was just a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of that. Um,
Hmm.
Again, did was Chloe given ample time to try to make things right? And was Parkwood notified and given ample time to kind of make things right?
Yes, they had over a year. The record came out August of 2024. Like I said, for 200 days, Forrest and his attorney, Tiffany Morgan, went back and forth with Chloe's attorneys. He went Jeremy wasn't like always on the chain. It was like his associates. This woman named Amina was the person that was on the chain at first. But yeah, I mean, and the thing is also Forrest knows both of them.
Mhm,
So, like, he reached out to everybody directly as well. He reached out to Chloe. He reached out to Bongo. He reached
mhm,
out to, you know what I mean? And so it was like nothing was getting resolved. And yeah, I mean, there was ample time. And then even when it got all the way to where it is now, right? When I got
Right.
involved and when Tyrone got involved, that was last month, top of last month. So like they've had almost 2 months since we got involved to make this make some sense. When we our last interaction before everything went to shit, excuse my language. But the last thing that happened when everything went, went that way was they didn't want a contract with him. Literally, they didn't want a paper trail of this. So it was like, yes, we'll give you your fees after all of this fighting. We'll give you your
Mhm.
fees. We'll give you your points. They weren't willing to pay lawyer fees because we were trying to get them to also cover lawyer fee. Because at this point, we done brought in Tyrone, and we
Oh, so
shouldn't
they
have to bring it.
forced you guys to bring a lawyer in
Yeah, we didn't have
because they
a
were just
choice.
ignoring him, leaving him red. So he had,
Yeah, they
and
was
when
just
the lawyer
playing.
came, they said, "We'll give you your money, we'll give you your fees," and then where'd they go?
And and but we won't pay your lawyer fees, right? So then he decided, all right, cool, I'll eat the lawyer fees. He agrees to
Okay.
eat the lawyer fees, right? Agreed to eat the lawyer fees. Fine. We're negotiating in good faith, right? Cool. Then they send over the contract, and the contract is only between Forrest and Bongo. And we're like, Forrest doesn't work for Bongo. Why the
What?
fuck is he? Why, excuse my, sorry. Why is he only in contract with Bongo? We're not, Chloe Bailey isn't signed to Bongo. The
So
business dealings that, Chloe and Parkwood have with Bongo is none of our concern. Songwriters are independent contractors and we work for ourselves. And so they operated like, oh, well, Bongo brought us in these records and we did a deal with him. And so we're going to make it his responsibility to handle what's going on with the writers. No. What?
what?
Yeah. So, when everything, like I said, when everything went to shit, at this point, it went to shit because of a contract, because they wanted to only be on paper with Bongo and Forrest. And
Okay.
then when Jeremy got looped back in because we said no, Tiffany sent the email and was like, hey, like, we don't agree to this. This is how we would like this to be. This was last week. Jeremy said nothing. He didn't respond.
Jeremy is Chloe's lawyer.
Yes, he did not respond. Right. So then 2 days ago, Motisala, who is Bongo's lawyer, and Tiffany, who's our lawyer, have a conversation. And now all of a sudden, Jeremy is available, but he's only available to her. So now he's talking to us, but he's talking to us through Motisala. Like, it just was like, girl, it's just so unprofessional. So,
You know what? Let's get into these court documents because there were a lot
yeah.
of questionable things. So again, you're operating in good faith, and this is the part that really struck me. And they tried to do the okey doke. They didn't want you to bring a lawyer in. You
Hmm.
had to bring a lawyer in to get them to even talk to you. Now, mind you, for everybody that knows this, if you were here earlier, let me bring everybody that just came in up to speed. There is a songwriter, Forrest. Forrest had 3 tracks, okay? He wrote them with another artist in mind. Didn't work out. That's okay. No one owned the songs except for Forrest. There is a producer named Bo. Bo,
Bongo.
I'm sorry, Bongo. Sorry.
It's
There's a
fine.
producer named Bongo. Bongo is in the studio with Chloe. Chloe, he says, hey, you have to listen to this. Same lingerie. I believe Chloe was even singing it a cappella on live.
Hmm.
Um, it really resonated her. She said, I want that, I want that, I want that. They were the highest charting songs on her album. They were 100% hits. Forrest is a Grammy Award winning writer. He has written for a lot of people. Okay. And this isn't to disparage Chloe, but at the end of the day, this is what he does for a living. The man needs to be paid. They get on her album. The writer, Forrest, knows Chloe and he knows Bongo. Chloe at no time reached out and said, yo, I saw like this track. I love it. It's going to be so good. I can't wait. They go silent. The next time he hears anything about it is he's listening to Chloe's album like we are all proud, right? And he's like, wait, same lingerie. What? And he's listening to it and he's like, yo, those are my songs. So at this point, he's like, all right, I'm bugging because I know everybody involved. My songs are on the album. They're being well received. Yo, I need to get paid. Silence. I need my money. Silence. Yo, for real, where's my money? Silence. Where's my point? Silence. At one point, he was like, yo, you guys got to run me my money. Even more silence. He didn't want to bring a lawyer in. He brings a lawyer in, Tyrone Blackburn. He brings, by the way, side note, if you or anybody you know has been diddified in any way, I don't mean to make light of it, but if there is a powerful person or even not powerful person, if they have been abused, besieged in any way, it doesn't matter how rich or poor they were and they want justice, make sure you go to Tyrone Blackburn, Douglas Wigdor, whoever. You guys have until February 28th to actually file your claims. And again, this is about justice. Even if the person was their manager at Rite Aid or Walgreens, it doesn't matter. If they want to have the look back rule, which will let them bring up any type of claims under the Gender Motivated Violence Act going back to 2000, you have until the 28th to file it in court. So keep that in mind and tell all your friends, men and women, the line's going. So anyway, sorry, back to,
No,
so he's like,
love
you
that.
know what? And he gets Tyrone Blackburn involved. Tyrone Blackburn obviously has lawyer fees. He said, no problem. He got involved. He sent a letter off. All of a sudden, everybody woke up. Oh, come on. You know what? Let's settle. But they wanted to cut Tyrone Blackburn out. Forrest, the songwriter, said, you know what? I'll eat the lawyer's fees. Just pay me my money and credit me. Give me my points and credit me. They said, okay, and they gave a contract between Forrest, the songwriter, and Bongo, the producer. So basically, from the way I hear it, that was purely illusory. It was the okie doke. They wanted him to get engaged in a battle with someone that was completely separate from Chloe Bailey, completely separate from Parkwood, and that basically made Bongo and Forrest fighting over things that they had nothing to do with. Again, it seemed like it was the okie doke to get the lawyer out the way, get him to sign off, and he could go away. Now, I'm going to pull up the legal documents, but another part of the legal documents that really, really shocked me is there was some sort of demand letter or cease and desist letter sent to Parkwood saying, yo, this is your last time, stop paying with me. And this is when I started to say, Parkwood needs to be held accountable for what they did, because why don't you tell them what they did as soon as they got that letter?
Well, they were issued a it's called a DMCA
Yes,
takedown. So it's
DMCA.
the Digital Millennium Copyright Act Copyright Act, right? So it's copyright law. So they were issued a takedown of these songs. And they didn't do it. I mean, and that's why one of the claims um in this case is, or one of the causes of action is copyright infringement, because they willfully decided to keep the records up even after they went through all of the legal processes to have them removed, because Chloe doesn't own these compositions. They also, once he submitted his cease and desist last year, they went and registered the songs with the copyright office under their name. That's also fraud and copyright infringement. So and that was, it's so crazy, because I remember when I first started talking about this and so many people were like, it's Bongo, it's Bongo. Bongo is not the person doing any admin.
How would it
He's
be
not the
Bongo?
one. He's not the one who's registering stuff with the copyright office. He's not the one that's pressing the button to release stuff. He's not the one. And so when the people who cut the check were advised, hey, this is what's going on, the people who are
Yeah.
in charge, they did nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why they're being sued. It's like it's fraudulent to forge an application for the copyright is federal.
Yes.
That's And so it's like they went on to a government website and forged a copyright the day after they received the cease and desist.
So this was Parkwood that did that.
Either Parkwood or Columbia. I'm not
Okay, either
confident which one.
Parkwood or
One of the
Columbia.
two. Her
But
team.
Parkwood is
Yeah.
under
It's
Columbia,
under
correct?
Columbia. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
They did that. No, in your experience, is this very common in the music industry for people to actually
Yes.
file copyright and just take people's stuff?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, tell us
Yes.
about that.
So all of it. Yes. We have no control or participation in the administration of our music. That's why so many people have record deals and publishing deals. People are signed to companies called performance rights organizations. The two big ones are BMI and ASCAP. They're the people who collect your performance rights, your royalties, right? When
Mhm.
a song comes out, it is the record label who is registering all of this stuff and doing all of the administration, entering all the metadata. So
Yeah,
they could easily, me and you could do a song and say I'm the person that's doing the metadata. How do you know that I changed your percentage from 50% to 5? How would you know that? Until you start getting checks that are small. But you understand what I'm saying? It's like songwriters are not the ones that do any of the admin, right? And
yeah.
because we're excluded out of the business process, it makes it extremely hard for us to handle business because it's not honored with us. So if we're reaching out to the label, they're like, "Oh, call so and so." Like they're just we're just pushed
Gotcha.
off.
They can
Yeah,
give you the okey doke. I have a
yeah.
question though. For this is for any aspiring artist. Would it
Mhm.
help if you guys got copyright first? Like every, and I know it can get costly, right? But every
Mhm.
single time you create a song and you think, okay, this might be used. I mean, copyright. Don't you guys have inherent copyright because you created it?
Yes and no, because at
Mhm.
the end of the day, it's exploitation, it's breaking of the law, right? So
Yeah.
like whether or not we did it this way or that way, this is the industry standard with as far as treatment with songwriters. Songwriters are the most exploited out of everybody, right? So our
Mhm.
publishing is taken, our credit is taken, our money is taken. We're always steamrolled. We're the easiest ones to get it. And because we
Gotcha.
don't have anybody to defend us, yeah, people do illegal stuff to us all the time. It just is
Yeah.
rarely do you see this be the situation, which is why it's such a big deal. And I'm so proud of Forrest for doing this because I mean, yeah, this is industry standard. Songwriters do not get paid for their work. We are dependent on royalties on the back end, and you have no way of knowing how much that's going to be. It's all based on the performance of the song. So if you don't have the song that's the highest performer on the record, you don't make any money. And when I say you don't make any money, I'm serious. I'm talking about you can have a record on an artist as big as Beyonce and only make a couple $1,000s for real. Streaming
Really?
pays, yes, streaming pays shitty. Also, the song is equal to 100%, right? We're talking just ownership of the
Okay.
song, of the copyright. So when an artist does a record deal, right? Usually in a traditional record deal, they
Okay.
have a 80/20 rev share, which means the label gets 80%, the artist gets 20, and that's a good deal. That's a good
Wow.
deal. Yes. So when you create a song, a copyright is created, right?
Okay.
A copyright is two things when it comes to a song. It's a sound recording and it's a composition. A sound recording is just a recorded version of the composition. So if me and you write a song and then you record it, you created the sound recording because you
Okay.
recorded it. You
All
get
right.
what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
When a record company does a deal with an artist, they are purchasing their sound recordings.
Okay.
That's what the master is. When people say I own my masters, that's what the masters is. Most people don't own their masters because that's what you sell off to do a record deal. That's the part of the song that earns the
Oh,
most money, right? That's the part of the song that the record labels hoard. That's why you always hear songwriters asking for points on the master because we don't have any participation in that money. So, okay, you got a song and it equals 100%, right? But this artist has already done a record deal and 80% of their rev share is already going to the record label, right? For the master of the song. So now there's only 20 points or something like that left on the sound recording side of the song, right?
Okay.
Songwriters own the composition of the song. That's the lyrics and the melody. I know this sounds so complicated, and I'm trying to explain it as simple as possible, but this is what it is. So when a songwriter writes a song, they write the lyrics and the melody. That's the part of the copyright that we own. That part of the song is the part that's exploited the most. Songwriters publishing is regulated by the government. Like our royalties are regulated by the government, while the sound recording isn't a free market. It's crazy. So it's like one copyright, one part of it is in a free market, the other part of it is regulated by the government.
Huh.
And so
Okay.
I know it's
And they
complicated.
want to keep that loophole open because
They
that's
want
how
to
they
keep
can
it,
exploit
they want to keep it
everyone.
complicated like this so that we never make any money. But because of
Can,
that,
can
there's
we
an
pause
go
really
ahead.
quick before we go? Because I had a really quick question.
Yeah.
But if you're saying that the label owns like 80% of it, then would it be Parkwood's responsibility to pay? Or they're just like, no, the artist has to pay for it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like if they
Yes,
own
I do see
80%
what you're
of it, wouldn't
saying.
Parkwood own 80% of the bill also?
I mean,
No.
that's a good question, Tisa. And that's what I'm saying. And this has been the argument, right? Because record labels are like, well, songwriters want fees. Where are the fees going to come from?
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
additional money. The song artists recording budgets need to be increased, right? What they're trying to do is get the songwriter fees out of producers fees, but producers fees are not big enough anymore to accommodate a songwriter fee unless your fee is like $1,000. Who what am I do with that?
Huh.
Yes. So they're trying to put it all off on the producer so that they don't have any liability and so that they don't have to be the ones that pay everything. And so, I mean, it's classic capitalism. You get the most, they
So,
get the
so,
most of the
so
pie.
the record company used to say, okay, the producer. So the producer gets a song, and I'm like, oh, okay, the producers had to pay for the song and then bring it to the artist. Okay. And before the producer's fee could kind of cover that. Now the producers are being paid so little, they're like, yeah, you're on your own. And the record companies, even though they're taking 80%, like for instance, the Parkwood is taking 80% of Chloe's profits for whatever reason, because they invested this, that, and the third, she's still responsible for paying whatever the fee was for the song if she decided she know. Did she know it? I honestly can't believe that
No, here's the
Chloe
thing.
just stole someone's music and put them on Red and refused to pay. Or
It's
Parkwood. They
industry standard.
so much money. And the thing is, I don't know how much Forrest was actually wanted, but the 15 million is punitive. He wants now 5 million a song to punish Columbia and to
Yep.
punish Parkwood. But the money he
Hmm.
wanted was so small.
Hmm.
Why somebody like Parkwood, and we saw how much Beyonce is charging for those tickets. Why, even with but like Chloe, why do you think they're not coming to the table? Do you think it's just all this lawyer, Jeremy Moore, or do you think it's
No.
he's just doing their bidding?
No, they don't want to set a precedent. They are not coming to the table because if they pay him, every writer on Chloe's record needs to get paid. Every writer on
Oh,
Beyonce's record needs to get paid. Every writer that writes for a Columbia artist needs to get paid. Every writer that writes for a Sony Music artist needs to get paid. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
I think that the reason why they are fighting this is so that a precedent isn't set. And I mean, it's crazy to me because I'm just like, I always ask these people, I'm like, would you work for free? Like, we're not asking for anything insane. We aren't. We're asking for something modest, to be quite honest, and
Yeah.
something that is a livable wage. We're not trying to, break the bank and take all of Chloe's money or something like that.
Yeah.
No, we're coming to the table and asking for something that's fair. And the reality is the business with songwriters has never been fair.
Hmm.
And it's just that we've reached a boiling point because of streaming, right? Because
Yeah.
our publishing royalties now aren't a livable wage where they used to be, kind of. And so now they've put our back against the wall where it's like these standards have to evolve. They're not laws that say you can't do business with songwriters. We're all independent contractors. We're allowed to do business how we want to, but there's an illusion that we work for ourselves when really we work for them. And then
Wow.
the crazy thing is so the
But you're
companies that
right. you know what though? Sorry to interrupt, but you are
No,
right. If
it's
you get
fine.
into labor law, somebody can say you're an independent contractor, but if they can control the way you're paid, the way this, because if you weren't independent, and that is the biggest scam. If anybody, this is a thing for no matter what it is. If anybody says you can get a share of the profits, you always want gross profits, and you always want to look at the books. If they say, "Oh, we'll give you 50% of net profits," I literally 50% of net profits for our lemonade stand. I can sit here and be like, guess what? Oh, you know, those Trump prices, the sugar is now $80 a packet. I got these lemons. You can keep adding cost until I say, guess what? I know it looks like I made $1 million, but actually, net profit, we only got 50. So here's your $25. You never want to get money on the back end. But even if you do get money on the back end, you want to make sure you have access to the accounting. And the fact that you're saying that artists do
But
not
let me
have
stop you
access to
there. Hold on, let
it.
me stop you there when you said access to the accounting, right? So the original contract that they sent over between Forrest and Bongo, there was no language in there for audits. There was no language in there. Those are things that you would normally have a right to, but they were
Yeah.
trying to put it as he was under Bongo. No, we don't work for him. Yes. And so
Wow.
the reality is like I said, this is an industry standard. Like for a long time there has been a hierarchy of the producer being over everything. We over that. We're
Yeah.
over it. It's
Yeah.
not enough money in this for it to be like this. And like I said, we all work for ourselves. So you can't tell me if I run my own coffee shop, what time I open and what time I close. This is my shit. I
Yes.
run my coffee shop how I run my coffee shop. And if I said my cup of coffee is $15, then bitch, my cup of coffee is $15.
Exactly.
And if you want some coffee over here, you gonna pay $15. If you don't want to pay $15, you take your ass up to the cheaper coffee shop. And
Yes.
that's just it.
Yeah.
That's business. And but what we're fighting for right now, and the reason why this case is so important is because that is a precedent that has not been set, and it is a precedent that the system is fighting to suppress. They do not, they know I'm gonna come on here and take a victory lap. They know I'm not gonna be quiet. They
Hmm.
knew that if they settled this, I was gonna be like, hey, and if they didn't settle it, that I was gonna be like, hey, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think it's a, I think that it's yeah, it's just it's a collective effort. It's a collective effort, and there this is so many people's fault. Like
Hmm.
and this is the rule. This is not the exception as far as practices. Now, how we're moving is the exception. Most people are not going to go about it this way. But the reason why I want this to be public and I want songwriters to see this is because I want them to know that this is how they can move if they want to. You can do this if you want. And
Hmm.
man, record labels, could you imagine if everybody just started suing you
Yeah.
instead of you just paying them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying, but it just makes me wonder, have you guys spoken to Chloe directly? Because can this be cleared
No.
out with a phone call? Because again,
We're so far past the
Chloe
phone
just doesn't
call.
strike me as someone that would just steal somebody's ish and then be on Instagram flaunting, getting like $50,000 watches from her boyfriend in Nigeria. Well, I don't know if he's
And
Nigerian,
performing
but
the
you get my point.
songs and performing the songs on Instagram while we after we had put in after they had put in that takedown for the digital Millennium Copyright Act. She posted a video of her performing um what's the record with Ty Dolla Sign, what was it, Saint Lingerie, oh, Might As Well.
Might as well, yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this? Willful copyright infringement. That was a choice. And so everybody that's like, leave Chloe alone. Chloe is she's a grown up, right? And so whether or not she's privy to every last detail or not, what she is privy to is the fact that this is going on, right?
Hmm.
And so whether she's being advised, F them, let's do what we want or not, at the end of the day, it falls on her because it's her stuff. It's her stuff. You know, like, wait, hold on. Hold on, this is the I'm looking at the group chat for the lawyer group chat they're watching, and I'm like, can I say that? Because they were I was asking if I could say Yes, Tiff is not subject to. Okay, so I'm gonna
Wait,
tell
really
y'all.
quick before you go into this, you guys, everybody's saying that Chloe does not um make 15 million. No kidding. I don't think she'd be in Africa chasing after Burna Boy, trying to make him her
Tisa.
bona fide if she did. You guys need to understand they are also suing Parkwood Entertainment, which is Beyonce's label, and also Columbia. They are suing 5 million a song in punitive damages. Actual damages is how much he wanted to or should have made. Punitive is how much you ask the court to award you to punish the wrongdoers so that they don't do it again. So if you're punishing me and Tiffany in punitive, right? And I don't know what's in Tiffany's bank account, but we're both grown women, right? And we hit your car, and then they give us punitive damages of $50. Or let's just say you come into Tiffany's coffee shop and you talking trash, and she smacks you in the face, right?
Yeah.
And they give you punitive damages, her punitive damages of $50. Is that enough to make Tiffany pause next time she wants to rock your head back? No. You need to
No.
do something that's going to put if not a dent in her bank account, enough to sting. So next time she thinks about rocking your head back, she's like, well, hold up a second. I don't want to have to pay $5 million. It's not worth it. Let me just tell them to be blessed and go on their
Yeah.
way. So the
There we go.
15 million is punitive damages for Parkwood and Columbia because they are
And
billion-dollar
Chloe.
companies. And how much would you need to charge a multi-million or a billion-dollar company for them to learn their lesson? 5 million a song seems to be well. However, from what I understand, and again, I don't know the exact numbers. Chloe
I was
was
about to say, I just got permission to tell y'all the
okay.
numbers.
Let's hear the numbers. Let's hear the numbers.
Okay, so before we got involved, and before we got involved, this all could have went away for $5,000 a song.
Everybody that
I
said
got
Chloe don't got
involved.
that much money, let me just repeat what she said. When this all started, the songwriter, who this is how he makes his money, right? He eats what he kills. He's like a used car salesman. He doesn't know. He could have the best year of his life, or he could have a year when nobody wants his songs. He wanted $5,000 per song. 5,000 per song, which to me is
And
pennies.
honestly, wait, he wanted more than that. He wanted $10,000 a song.
Even then,
But they negotiated, right? He was like, "Look, I'll take 5." They offered him $2,500 a song. He said no cuz obviously what? Have you seen the economy? Are you crazy? And he lives in Los Angeles. He has a mortgage. Like, no. So they negotiate, the negotiation stalls. He was willing to walk for 5 a record. When all of this blew up, by the time we got involved and Tyrone got involved, we got it up to $10,000 a song. Now, he was gonna get paid 10 grand a song for 2 of the songs.
yeah.
They could have got up out of here with paying $20,000, him paying lawyer fees out of that 20,000. Because remember, we were trying to get the lawyer fees, and he was really about to take a L, right? So
Wow.
20,000 taken out of his lawyer fees. He was gonna pay his lawyer fees. Just give me a proper contract, and we could be done. Jeremy Moore is giving. Okay, bet. That's y'all fault. That's y'all fault. And the
So,
thing is I remember our litigator, Tyrone Blackburn, talking to Sony's litigator and saying, this is not even for anything crazy. We're not asking for, we didn't come in there and say we want $50,000 a song. That's not what we did. We asked
wow.
for a livable damn wage. What was fair? He wrote he wrote a majority of the song on 2 of those records. Really?
Wow.
And when he was willing to settle for 5, even though he wanted 10, even though he deserved 10, he deserved so much more than that. They
Wow.
played in his face. So it's given
They played in his
bet.
face, and now he has this lawsuit out. Again, what would ever stop? Why can't, I mean, I guess it's numbers and bodies, right? in the songwriting world, everybody is sold a dream. Everybody wants to get on. So I imagine they
Hmm.
have it like, well, if you don't do it, there's a million other talented songwriters, and you just move out the way. And people are like, okay, well, I'll do it for 1,000 because everybody wants to get on because they feel like once they reach a certain point, they'll be rolling in money. But it's illusory because nobody really ever reaches that
Not
point.
anymore. The
Yeah.
thing is, I think that a big part of the reason why there's that illusion is because that at some point that was real. And to some point, it still is real. If you create a song that is a top 40 hit that plays on the radio and gets, licensed in a bunch of commercials and a bunch of like mainstream stuff, you can still make a lot of money.
But that
But the
doesn't happen often.
margins, but the margins are really small.
Yeah.
When I first started writing songs professionally, it was in 2007. And in 2007, that was the tail end of album sales, like CDs, and it was going into iTunes. Back then, songwriters could.
Oh, she'll be back. She will be back. Listen, a little technical difficulty, but let's talk while she is gone. What is going? Hold on, here she go. Let's see. Hey, I was about to.
Yep.
I was
Yeah.
like, so let's talk.
So
Okay, you're back. So go on.
so now that there's no physical copies of it sold anymore, and now we're just talking about, making our money on streaming. It's really bad because we don't have a seat at the table with streaming. The people who are controlling streaming are the heads of the music groups and the heads of the streaming companies. It's what do you call it? An oligarchy, is that how you say it?
Oligarchies. Yeah, they
Yes.
are the new
It's a
oligarchs of this
monopoly.
world.
It's a monopoly.
It
And so
is.
like
I mean, look at
no
you and
matter where
Kiwi.
we turn, they're around. All of these major companies continue to buy all the independent companies we work with. So it doesn't matter what you do, you are at the mercy of them. It's crazy.
It's crazy, but like, what is it? I can't imagine if Chloe or anybody else that knows her is watching this, is she wouldn't reach out and try to make things right and get this lawsuit settled. Why do you think Parkwood hasn't gone? Because honestly, Parkwood can afford this no problem. Even at $10,000 a song, Chloe makes enough for 10,000. Now we can argue whether it is fair for her company after they made all the money off of her to make her pay that. But y'all, let's be real. It's Chloe Bailey. Chloe can do one concert anywhere, anywhere. She can do a club appearance and make his money to pay him. So what's the issue? I get it.
Precedent, precedent, industry standard. We don't pay songwriters. If they didn't pay anybody else on the record, why are they paying him? If
They
I
didn't.
never have to pay for this, why do I have to pay for this now? You
Did
know
they
what just
pay?
popped in
You
my
said
head?
they didn't pay anybody else on the record either.
Songwriters don't get paid upfront fees or points on the master. This is what we have to fight for. No. So
This
they're
is
used to
wild to
not
me.
paying
This is
us.
like somebody coming in, sitting down, ordering a full course meal, enjoying it, staying as long as they want. You see them blogging, Instagramming it. And
Girl,
when you say, here's your bill, they crumble it up and tell you to go wipe your butt with it. And then you're chasing them down the street and calling them at their work 2, 3, a year after they ate dinner, being like, please, can you just give me something? You're basically
and
begging
you
them.
should be grateful. And you
Yes,
should be grateful for the clout that you get from being associated with any of these people. I'm sorry. Clout does not pay the bills. Money pays the bills.
you know
That's
what
just the
though?
bottom line.
You bring up
And
a
a
good
lot of
point.
these people, a lot of these artists, it's like it's no shade to any of these artists. Artists have no control over what the royalty rates are. Like I
Mhm.
said, that's set by the heads of the music companies and the government. So it doesn't matter who you are. We are not making money off of you unless you are really, 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 really popping. Unless your record goes really, 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 really crazy. Not because you're whack. It's because of how the system is set up. I think that we should be able to make an abundance of money off of every artist that we work with. I
Mhm.
think a million streams is a lot, but a million streams is nothing in this economy now. It's just not. It is literally nothing. It is not enough money for anybody to pay anything. It just isn't. And so it's like, The system has changed on one side, and then this side of the system is just fighting to catch up. And because we are easily exploited,
Mhm.
because we have the least amount of money, we have the least amount of power, because of that, it's easy to continue to step on us. That's why this kind of work is important. That's why people in the music industry can't stand my ass, because I'm just like, hey, this is going on over here.
Mhm.
This is going on over here. And because songwriters are not famous, because there's this illusion that all artists write their songs when it's complete bullshit. And there are people like me and my homies in the room actually being the ones that write these records. Our vocals still be on these songs, background vocals and stuff. Most of us can sing just as good, if not better, than some of these artists. Like, no shade. And when you look at how many artists were songwriters, Victoria Monet, Bruno Mars, Frank Ocean, Dolly Parton, like, come on. Songwriting is a thing. It is a profession, and it is not something, it is a full-on industry. Your favorite songs would not exist if songwriters did not do their job, not their hobby, their job. This is a billion-dollar industry. And like you said, Beyonce's tickets for her show are a lot of damn money. The
I
tickets
was
for her
shocked.
show
I
are
was
more
gonna treat
money.
my cousin to some tickets, and then I saw that, and I'm like, oh well,
Those tickets cost
we can
more
go on
money than how
vacation
much.
for that much money.
Those tickets are more money than we get paid.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying? When you
yeah.
think about the concept of artists touring, right? Unless, not even just Beyonce, just all these artists. When you think about these artists touring, you're buying the tickets to do what? To go see her do what?
Yeah, perform the
Sing.
song. Yeah,
Sing what?
the
Exactly.
song.
You're not going there just to look at her. And if she went and she sang some songs you didn't know, you'd be pissed because you're
That is
coming there to sing
true.
your songs. You're coming there to
Yes.
sing the songs. You're not just coming there to see her and dress
Yeah.
up in the outfit. You're coming there for the whole experience, and a very, 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 very massive part of the experience is the damn song. And the person who writes the song is the damn songwriter. And it is absolutely atrocious that we have to file a damn lawsuit over something that could have gotten clear for $5,000 a fucking song. It's absolutely atrocious. And I am so, like I said, I'm so proud of Forrest for standing on business. I'm so proud of the team. I'm so proud of Tiffany Morgan. I'm so proud of Tyrone. I'm proud of myself. And we're gonna fight this, and we're gonna win.
Y'all are gonna win. Let me ask you a question though. Chloe's not worried that like all the like Chloe's not worried, or the artists, if they don't pay the songwriter, are the artists ever in danger of getting dropped by? Like are there no
No,
safety nets for a
no,
songwriter to get paid?
no. And here's the gag, right? A lot of songwriters are signed to publishing companies. Who owns the publishing companies?
Good point.
The
Good
same
point.
companies who own the record labels. So
Yeah.
how can you call your publisher for help when your publisher is in bed with the people who are screwing you over? I have conversations too often of people calling me being like, my publisher told me to just sign the deal. My publisher told me to stop fighting for the fees. My publisher told me to just let them take the publishing. My publisher, yes, we're
Because your publisher is
surrounded
just
on.
the other end of the same people exploiting you. Let me ask you a
That's why I said it's
question.
a monopoly.
What about how with the 100%ers? Are you guys organizing to form a union, or it's still
Yes,
in the? What do you think
yes.
the major roadblock is for artists? Do you think it's just they keep getting young, naive talent? Because I think Forrest was an interesting case because they tried to treat him like he was a newbie songwriter, but he is Grammy Award winning and he has been through this song and dance more times. And at this point, he's like, no offense, Chloe, you're very talented, but the
But I've been
cloud was
doing this
working
longer
with
than
me.
you.
What? I was the biggest name on this album.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've been
Yeah.
doing this longer than you. Like, I've been
Yeah.
in this game. Like, I literally, it's so crazy because it's like I low key, like, look, I'm a Chloe Bailey fan,
Yeah.
right? Like, two things can be true.
Yes.
It's so interesting. I had somebody pull up a TikTok that I made about Chloe Bailey and like defending her, and people were like, "Oh, so you're gonna defend her and you're gonna do this?" And I'm like, "Yes,
Mm.
I can be a fan and like her music and also hold her accountable, right?"
Yes.
As a Chloe Bailey fan, and that's just somebody who's older than her. I'm 38 years old. Chloe is 26. Like,
Oh,
I
you
look
look
at
like
her like
a baby.
yeah, she could be my little sister. Like, I hate this. I hate this for her. Like, I
Yeah.
hate this for her. As an artist, I hate this for her. As a woman, I hate this for her. As a young Black woman, I hate this for her.
Yeah.
And I want better for her. I want better for all of these artists. I want better for these labels. I want better for everybody that we're interacting with. It's never been a situation where we want to fight. We're just down to fight. But we didn't pick the fight, they picked the fight. And so it's like, all right, well, you punch somebody in the face who's not scared to get scrappy, right? Like, some
Exactly.
people are scared to fight and some people aren't, right? So we with the shit. But but I would have loved to come on here and been like, I'm so grateful to Chloe Bailey and to Parkwood and to Columbia for doing the right thing and making sure that he was paid fairly and on time and all the things. But that's not what happened. That's
Yeah.
just not the story that they wrote in the book. And so we're
Yeah.
just telling the story that they wrote in the book.
Yeah. And for everybody in the comments, I see that some people are saying, no, the moral of this story is read your contract. You guys, this is more
There was no
insidious than that.
contract.
There's no contract to read. They literally just,
There was no
you have to
contract.
show your songs. People have to be like, oh, I like that. I like that. They don't tell you they're using it. And then they won't even sign a contract or agree to your fees. And the price of even getting admitted into the room is, well, let me hear what your song is. And you don't even know your song's being used until it gets put on the album, because they can shut you out of everything. And then on the back end, you don't know what the numbers look like, what they made off of it, anything. So they can just offer you anything. It literally is it. They have the whole industry set up like this, you know. And
And they
I will
don't
say this.
honor contracts. They don't honor contracts with
Yeah.
us. Literally, we're filing a lawsuit over a contract. They don't want
Wow.
to do contracts with us.
Wow.
We There was no contract. They cut these records without his consent, without his knowledge. They released the songs and he didn't know she even recorded these songs. There is no contract to even respect because there is no contract. Record companies believe that they have no business with songwriters. Why? I don't understand. I will never understand it. But they don't do business with us. They only do business with producers. Producers get paid a fee and they get points. Songwriters
Yeah.
only get publishing, and we are not privy to all of the business. We are not brought into the room. We are separated from the artist. We're a lot of times not there when these artists cut our songs. So there was no contract to even honor. We were trying to get a contract for 200 days. They tried to negotiate something, and it didn't happen. Was it because they didn't want it? They're the ones who do that. And the thing is like I said, this is standard practice. Most of the time, songs are coming out, your favorite song is coming out, and the business is not handled on these songs. That is
Wow.
industry standard. That's industry practice.
Yeah. It sounds to me though, what and again, I've been wanting to ask you this question since you started
Hmm.
explaining this, because I think for myself and a lot of people, like, you look at Stevie J, right? I
Hmm.
thought like he snorted all his money away. But now that you say this, maybe he didn't. Maybe he was always broke, and when I
Nah,
think,
Stevie J, nope. Stevie J came up when music was making
oh, so he
money.
did snort his money away.
I
Okay.
mean, I don't know what Stevie J did with his money, but Stevie J came up when music was making money, and Stevie J is a producer, and producers make more money than songwriters do. And so, nah, that was the golden era. Oh my God, I wish that I could have been a
Okay.
songwriter then, girl. My house would be
So
crazy.
does it seem like, because it seems like record people are going to have to start cannibalizing themselves soon, because it used to be that artists, even when they had unfair contracts back in the day, got paid more. And then the record labels kind of moved everything onto streaming, right? It allowed to do
Hmm.
turnover because they could make one hit wonders. And for the people that weren't one hit wonders, you're working, 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 but it's for streams. But don't worry, you're going to get that money out on tour, right? Touring percentage, they started eating. Oh, don't worry, because you're going to get that money like doing like sponsorships. And then they
And
started doing
merch and
360
all
deals.
that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then they started eating in, like you said, what producers and what writers make. How do you think, unless they just go through, and maybe this is why they try to move for one hit wonders instead of artists, right?
Hmm.
Um, the future of the industry, how can this just keep going unless each few years you get a new crop of artists that are so eager and hungry to get into it that they'll be like, okay, I'll work for free. And then by the time they figure out what's going on, you got new artists and new artists. But how can that be? You know?
I think that the reality is like a lot of these companies are surviving off of what's called catalog,
Hmm.
and that's old songs, songs that keep getting sampled, songs that think about how many hit songs were already hit songs, right? Like
Yeah.
it's, and I think you have a point on the signing of one hit wonders because they don't want to invest in artistry anymore. They want to find an artist on TikTok that's buzzing and sign them. And if that artist actually turns out to be a for real artist, then boom. If that artist turns out to be somebody who's just internet famous and wanted to just get some clout and whatever, or, you know, become a personality, then that's what happens. But there's just a lot less investment because there doesn't have to be as much investment.
Hmm.
Like, because of social media, it's like they can find, they're looking for artists that already have metrics and they want to look at your analytics and all of that kind of stuff. And so it's not the same game anymore. But I
Hmm.
think because there's always the hit songs are already created every single year. All I Want for Christmas Is You goes number one.
Yeah.
Do we need another one? No. Do we
Exactly.
want another one? No. We
Yeah.
don't want another one.
Yeah.
We want that one. We want Mariah Carey every Christmas. I mean,
That's something about American music, though. I notice you spend a lot of times overseas. Overseas, like they just keep having the bangers over and over and over and over and over. Whereas America, you're right. It's like we want something new, new music. Um, so you have a point about like if they could even stop this whole circle, we could actually get better quality music. Like remember
of
when
course.
an artist would make an album every 3 years, you know?
You were It's like you get what you pay for. Like that just is the bottom line, right? Like
Yeah,
the better you treat people, the better they work for you. The
yeah,
better, the better quality of a product. If I knew that I was going to get paid $10,000 every time a song of mine came out, I might still be writing songs. But I don't write songs anymore because it don't make no damn money.
I know
Not
that's
because I
right.
don't love it, not because we
Yeah,
don't have access to your favorite pop stars. It's because the shit don't make no damn money and we don't have any revenue share in any of the other stuff. We don't make money
yeah,
off of their merch. We don't make money off of those ticket sales for the concerts. We don't make money off of those brand deals that they get because of the hit song that we wrote. We don't
hmm,
make money off of anything but publishing. That is it,
yeah,
which is the reason why we're asking for songwriter fees and points because publishing doesn't make any more money anymore because of streaming. And I also just
yeah,
want to bring up a point real quick.
yeah.
Streaming was a solution to pirating. Let's remember Napster,
Oh
LimeWire.
yeah, I
That's
remember.
how
I've read
streaming
articles about that. Yeah.
that's how streaming became the
Is it
thing
really?
because the music industry was hemorrhaging. All of the music was being downloaded for free. So initially, streaming was a solution, and then it turned into a problem because we didn't have a seat at the table. So our rev share on a physical CD was
Yeah.
better numbers than our rev share on streaming. Like literally, that's what
Wow.
happened. Formats changed and the business model changed, and we didn't have anybody in there fighting hard enough for us to make a livable
Yeah.
wage. That's just is the bottom line.
Yeah, listen, definitely. And that's why your work, literally 100%ers, trying to build a union. And unions take time because
Yeah, it takes time.
it takes time and they'll always, give a little bit more to make sure the union doesn't farm, but eventually everybody learns your lesson and it just goes. Um, Today said, Tisa, my husband wrote that song at Tory Lane's remix by Brownstone, and he wrote and produced the record. And this is exactly what happened to him. He also wrote All the Things Your Man Won't Do by Joe. So
Mm.
yeah, it's incredible because, like you said, songwriting, and your husband's very, very talented today, but songwriting, you're right, the way you put it in such good perspective that when we go to concerts or hear somebody perform, one of the biggest gripes is when you go to hear your bangers and they start doing like a
And they don't got
skit
it.
scat super jazz thing, and you're like, what are you doing? you know, you're just
You
like,
like, that's not the melody. That's not
yes,
the melody. And guess who came up with that melody?
right,
Us. We're the
yes,
ones who come up with those melodies. So you
yes,
want to hear your favorite melody. You don't want them lyrics to change. You want it to be the exact same,
yes,
right? And I just,
yes.
like I said, I feel like, I think that's the thing about celebrity that's tricky, because celebrity washes out the jobs of everybody else. So it's like you
Mm,
only see the stars. Even when you look at like a movie, right? It's like you see
yeah.
the movie stars. You don't see the set designers and the people, the
The right
wardrobe
get jerked
and the
around the
right.
most. Yeah,
But it's the same thing with music. It's like
yes,
you see this artist, but you don't see the songwriters. You don't see the vocal producer. You don't see the engineer sitting there mixing their vocals and making it sound good. You don't see the producer and the musicians and the. You don't see all of that. You don't see
hmm,
that, but it's a job. It's a full-time job. It's not a hobby. It is a
yeah.
career. There's so many people that are like, "Well, just get a real job." What are you talking about? People have been writing songs for 20 fucking years. What
That
you
is
mean get a
a
real
real
job?
job,
This is a
though.
real job. What?
That is, who is someone to tell you just get a real job? Okay, well, pay me
Haters,
what you
people who are
owe me, and
haters,
I will be on my way.
people are haters, people who didn't follow their dreams and are looking at people who live their dreams as a career path and are
Yeah,
like, just go do. And it's like, listen, like I said, the songwriting is a industry. It is a career path. It is something that people do. If it wasn't, there would be no music background to anything that you do. Next
yeah,
time you turn on a TV, look at how much music is in the commercials. Look at when you get in the elevator, there's music playing. You go into the doctor's, there's music playing in the doctor's office. You go into the movies, there's music playing there's music always playing. That is a
exactly.
job that somebody does that needs to get paid.
Oh my
Period.
God. Well, listen, Tiffany, listen, thank you so much for joining us. Um, I have to go in a little bit,
I
but
was gonna say, you
Tiffany,
like, you got some tea. I'm like, look at your eyes. You like,
no, but listen, I would like if you guys want Tiffany to come back on because I want to read the legal papers to you
yep,
guys. But if you guys want Tiffany to come back on this weekend or read the legal papers with me and walk through the lawsuit, I would love for you to come back this weekend, Tiffany, if
I'm
you're
down.
open to it. What do you say, Tiffany?
I'm down.
You are? Okay, so
Yeah.
you guys, listen, this weekend, tune in while you're folding clothes, conditioner, eating, it don't matter, right? Tiffany's going to come on. We're going to read the Chloe Bailey documents. And we're also going to hope that Chloe sees the light, Parkwood sees the light, Columbia sees the light, and this is kind of settled. I hope it's settled out of court because honestly, even from a creative perspective with Forrest, I would hate to have to create, and I only do YouTube where I just like run my mouth. I would hate to have to think about what's going on. What I would hate to have to think about what's going on while, I'm in a case and I have to create and it just messes up your whole flow. Nobody likes to be screwed.
Yep.
And I'm sure he's worried about being blackballed or anything else. So this is like a big stand for him. So,
Yeah.
shout out to him for being courageous, but that's how change gets happen. More and
That's
more
how
people
change
start being
happens.
more and more courageous. So yeah, yeah. Listen, you guys, thank you so much, Tiff, for joining. We are going to come back this weekend and actually read the legal documents. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully, there will be some movement. And also, we can you can weigh in on what's going on also with the Diddy case and whatnot, because it does link in a lot. And the funny thing is,
Girl,
yeah, an
don't try to pull
industry that
me
is
in.
like exploiting people, it seems like it exploits on every single level. So yeah,
It
it's
is.
just really sad to see. But I hope that Chloe, Parkwood, everybody can come together. Maybe they all put 10,000 out, like even split it 3 ways, 10, 10,
Baby,
10. But
listen,
again, we're going to,
we way past 10,000. They had a long time ago to do that. They gonna have to put together way more than 10,000 now.
yeah. And you guys, listen, we'll do this, but I'm going to come back on live in 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I know this is like a little silly. Tiffany, you probably don't know the team, but remember Portia and Simon, guys, from Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Uh-uh.
You don't watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, do you?
Uh-uh.
Oh, so you
Uh-uh.
don't watch. We're going to go. Anyway, y'all, Simon has been arrested by ICE.
Wait, who?
Simon, from Portia's husband, Simon, the little scammer she married, he's been arrested by ICE. And I bet you
Oh
anything Portia
no.
put in that call. But you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
you go.
y'all. Yeah, let me go. Tiffany, God. Tiffany, thank you so much. And this weekend, we're going to get together and read the papers, okay?
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you, Tiffany.